Mr. President, I'll preface my reading of the resolution with just a few explanatory comments, if I may. Resolution 2012-31 effectively restores our invocation to its traditional place on the agenda of the Mount Vernon City Council legislative session. In doing so, this resolution reflects Council's desire to seek divine guidance. It also recognizes legislative prayer as a practice that is deeply embedded in our nation's political and judicial history. Some in our community may question the need for such a resolution, as opposed to just going back to what we have always done. In response to them, I would point out three compelling reasons for Council to proceed affirmatively tonight on this resolution. First and foremost, we as a Council should be intentional, not incidental, in our invitation of divine guidance. If we can pass resolutions to protect brick streets, or to make committee appointments, or to celebrate the planting of trees, surely our decision to pray at council meetings is also worthy of our legislative effort. Second, a legitimate citizen inquiry about council's prayer policy has provided us what educators like to call a teachable moment. By relying heavily on language found in the United States Supreme Court's 1983 landmark Marsh versus Chambers decision, Resolution 2012-31 provides council members and community members alike a much clearer understanding of what legislative prayer is and what it is not. Finally, this resolution declares our intention to use reasonable and constitutional best practices in implementing a prayer policy that reflects and respects the religious diversity of our community. And now it's my pleasure to read in its entirety Resolution 2012-31. Whereas members of Mount Vernon City Council desire to include an invocation on the agenda of each legislative session, and whereas the Supreme Court of the United States, in its 1983 Marsh versus Chambers ruling, affirmed the historic practice of legislative prayer, quote, to invoke divine guidance on a public body entrusted with making laws, end quote. And whereas members of Mount Vernon City Council acknowledge that its constituents include adherents of many religious faiths, as well as individuals who profess no religious faith. And whereas the Supreme Court in Marsh v. Chambers stated, quote, the content of the prayer is not of concern to judges where there is no indication that the prayer opportunity has been exploited to proselytize or advance any one or to disparage any other faith or belief, end quote. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mount Vernon, State of Ohio, Section 1, that an invocation of divine guidance upon members of Mount Vernon City Council shall henceforth be included on the agenda of each legislative session of Council. Number 2, that the President of City Council shall invite representatives of Mount Vernon's diverse religious communities to offer such invocations, and shall establish general guidelines for invocations, such as suggested duration and the avoidance of content that seeks, quote, to proselytize or advance any one or to disparage any other faith or belief, end quote. Number 3, that neither the President nor members of City Council shall otherwise edit the content of prayers of those invited to offer such invocations. And that is the end of the resolution.